Hi, TikTok friends. I'm back with another health journey update for you. If you've been following me, you know that I have been making updates here and documenting my experience on my I'm over 40 health journey, and I want to get my life and health together as I continue on in this sort of second half of my life here. I am documenting my experience primarily having recently been prescribed a GLP-1 medication. So there's a lot of criticism out there about GLP-1 medications that people are using them in order to lose pounds. And a lot of insinuation that somehow is not a worthy reason to use medication. One thing that I will say is the primary reason I'm using the medication is because my blood pressure medication alone wasn't bringing my hypertension down. So I have a really good update for you. I went to my nephrologist's office yesterday. If you're not familiar with what a nephrologist does, they are a kidney doctor, and kidney doctors tend to be the specialists who treat challenging blood pressure cases because often high blood pressure is linked to kidney function, and high blood pressure can impact kidney function. So my nephrologist saw me a month ago when I was having a hypertensive crisis, which is when your blood pressure is so high, the risks of immediate adverse effects becomes high. Adverse effects like stroke, like heart attack, like arrhythmias, etc. So I had a change in my blood pressure medication because the ones that I had been prescribed over the course of 4 years since I first had high blood pressure readings worked initially and then stopped working. And so we'd made little adjustments along the way and nothing really was doing anything. So they changed up my medication, but I was on, as of earlier this spring, 4 different blood pressure medications, and they were still not bringing my blood pressure down into the healthy range. I went from being in a hypertensive crisis to having elevated or high blood pressure, but we really want to get to a healthy blood pressure. So both my nephrologist and my primary care physician said a good next step for you is a GLP-1 medication at this point. Not just because of the blood pressure, but because I had other health issues that are sometimes referred to as comorbidities that were complicating everything. One of those, of course, is having a high BMI or being considered clinically obese. But in addition to that, I also had sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea. I also had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. I also had pre-diabetes, which means I had a number of blood glucose readings and A1C readings that were elevated, not consistently, not enough to be categorized as type 2 diabetes, but headed in that direction, among other things. So I was prescribed the GLP-1 medication for that reason, and my nephrologist is very pleased with my progress. This was the first time that I had a blood pressure reading that was in essentially the healthy range in getting medical care basically over the last, we'll say 2 years. I haven't had a blood pressure reading that was truly in the healthy range until yesterday. And my nephrologist was also pleased with both the reduction in my weight, but also the obvious reduction in inflammation, which has a negative impact on your blood pressure as well. So that was really great. And I ended out being able to go off one of the 4 newer blood pressure medications already. We made some adjustments to the dosages of some of the other meds, and I was able to go off one of the stronger ones that unfortunately also has some adverse side effects associated with it. So now I don't have to worry about those side effects because I'm down one of the 4. So I'm down to 3 blood pressure meds. And the whole goal here, and part of the reason why the GLP-1 medication is being used as a tool, is that as my BMI goes down, and as my inflammation goes down and I have other positive impacts from the GLP-1 medication, it's expected that my blood pressure will more consistently go down into more normal ranges on its own, and I'll be able to take more and more of those blood pressure meds off the list of my prescribed medications, or really dramatically reduce the dosages of them. And I'm really excited about that because that's really the whole goal for me. I don't want to have to be on multiple blood pressure medications, especially in situations where I'm on a lot of medications and they're not really doing the job that we want them to do. So this is a multi-tiered approach for me in terms of health journey, and I'm really getting great medical care and really empathetic, thoughtful, collaborative medical care from my team, and things are already moving in a really good direction. So that was great. That was a great outcome, and I don't have to go back to the nephrologist for a couple of months because he feels like things are on a good track. So that's really great. Today, I'm going to see my primary care provider as a follow-up for my prescription for my GLP-1, which is Zepbound. So I've been on it for 3 weeks. He wanted me to come in after 3 weeks to do a weight check, a BMI check, to do a blood pressure check, to do, just a general, how's it going? How are your side effects if you're having any? Are you seeing the benefits, etc.? And then to make a care plan moving forward to decide whether or not I remain on the 2.5 milligram dose that I'm on now, which is the loading dose after next month, or if I should, titrate up at some point and just have an initial conversation about the plan moving forward. So I went to the pharmacy this morning, first thing before work, because I have just one more pen in my box left in that refrigerator behind me. And after I take that tomorrow, I got nothing. So I went to the pharmacy and inquired with them about ordering my prescription because I called them earlier in the week and they said, too soon, call us on Thursday. So I was at the store and went over to the pharmacy and talked to them in person. Thought that might be a good approach rather than being one of those annoying people calling. And the pharmacy tech said that I should come back on Sunday. So I said, well, you all told me to come back on Thursday. Why are you saying come back on Sunday? And she said, well, your insurance won't cover it until Sunday because my insurance provider will only cover 1 month at a time, regardless of how many my doctor orders. And I was like, well, don't you need to order it in advance? Can't we order it to make sure it's in so that I can get it on Sunday? And she said, no, we'll have it. She's like, actually, the 2.5 milligram dosage over the last 2 weeks is now more readily available. So that might be true in my area. I'm not sure about other people and where they live who are on a similar journey. But in my area, my pharmacy is saying the 2.5 is actually easier for them to get now. And they, over the last 2 weeks, haven't had any problems getting it. So there's more availability and their system is showing that they can get it next day. So that's promising. But she did also note that that was only true for the 2.5 milligrams and everything else is still really hard to get. For this reason, I signed up with a telehealth organization to get myself some compounded version of my medication from a compounding pharmacy to have as a backup, because I have decided that I am not going to let supply chain issues associated with those pens prevent me from being able to continue my treatment on the schedule as my doctor has prescribed it. And realizing that the shortages are not the active ingredient for the medication itself, but just the mechanism for delivering it in that branded form, I decided as an insurance policy to make sure that I had some way to get myself what I needed should there be shortages, should I not be able to titrate up when I need to. So I've made that connection with that telehealth, and I'm feeling much calmer that I won't need to call around to the pharmacy or walk in and beg them to order it for me when I do titrate up and when those dosages are less available. Having that relationship in place gives me a lot of peace of mind because I'm prioritizing my health and nothing's going to get in my way. Case in point, yesterday, I decided to go to the gym in the evening pretty late. I like to go when it's quiet and there aren't a lot of people there. I ended up scraping my car in the parking garage as I was pulling out because the car next to me was parked a little bit over the line and it was a narrow turn. And I ended up scraping my passenger side door, causing some damage to my 2-year-old's car. So much so I had to put in an insurance claim. I did not let that stop me from going to the gym. In the past, I would have used that excuse, would have been angry, I would have been depressed, I would have been frustrated, and I wouldn't have gone to the gym. But I went anyway because nothing's going to get in the way of my project to improve myself right now. And that's how determined I am. Water off a duck's back. I'll keep you updated.